a lot of the information we work with is in terms of percents and some formulas. Well, what we're going to do is look at these percents and formulas with a little bit of an algebraic eye, so maybe we can understand some of these concepts a little bit more deeply. So for example, here's a formula, a stripped down formula, but a formula nonetheless, where I might have some C plus an M equals an S. Whoa, what in the world is that? Well, if I relate to you maybe in terms of a selling price, where we have the cost of the item plus the markup, what it's going to equal the selling price. So maybe cost plus markup equals selling price. That's a formula that I think we're aware of and we can make sense with. Or maybe there's cost plus the sales tax equals the selling price. So we have a formula that we strip down the English and just work with maybe some variables we can deal with that says C plus M equals S. Now it's all right, there's multiple variables, but here's where algebra helps us. Well, what if I don't have the selling price? Or maybe I want to know, well, what was the cost? I have what the selling price is and the markup, so maybe I want to know what the cost is. So what we can also do is we can rearrange this formula algebraically so that we can come up with other solutions. So this is solved for S, which means that we have S by itself. Well, what if I want to get cost by itself? How do we do that? Well, we're going to treat cost, C, as our variable we've done before. So C plus M equals S. So maybe I want to solve it for C. How would we do that? Well, let's take C plus M, subtract M from that side. What do we do to one side? We have to do to the other side. So I subtracted M from both sides, and now I'm left with an equation that says cost equals sales minus, or the selling price minus its markup. So this type of ability will be useful for us in understanding lots of different types of ideas. Another example that we're going to explore is, for example, the area of a rectangle. What's the area of the rectangle? Where do I want to do it at? Right here. Well, if I have a rectangle, I have some length and I have some width. We've learned that the area, the space inside, is the length times the width. So I would have some area equals length times width. Well, maybe there's a situation that I want to know what this equation is in terms of looking at its length. I want this solved for length, or maybe I want it solved for width. How would we do that? Same idea, same properties that we've already learned. I want to solve this for L, which means I want L by itself. So I'm going to treat the A and the W like constants that we've done before. So maybe here I'm going to divide both sides by what? What would I divide both sides by so that L is by itself? It's width. And then what do I have left? I have area divided by width equals length. So what we're able to do is algebraically manipulate these equations to maybe solve for a letter or a variable that we need it solved for so we can solve our problems. It's a hard concept to get used to. Because like, Willie, you sold me on numbers. I can do it if they're all numbers, but now you're asking me to do it with all letters? Yes. Yes, we are. But we're asking you because I know that you guys can do it. So we're going to go through and practice with some formulas and some percents to get a sense of how our algebra can help us understand these things better.